Hey everybody, it's Mike over here at Mike's Custom Works. I'm actually doing something I normally don't do. Normally I do cars, or I end up doing like videos of like food and shit, or random stupid videos because of the coronavirus crap, gimmick, dilemma, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Well, I'm going to actually be making some random stuff out of wood. Tree stumps and logs and stuff that I had collected during the epidemic while people were panicking about a flu virus called the corona. But anyway, don't worry about my conspiracies. Anyway, I'm going to be making tables, and I'm going to be making a coffee drip system, and I'm going to be making nightstands as well. I'm going to show you guys the videos on the insanity that I go through, or the drunken and fused coma of my life, I call it. Anyway, first thing we're starting off right now is a wine table fridge made out of reclaimed tree wood logs from the forest. I know, that sounds great. That sounds like I should have read a script. So I drew it out a little bit. The design is inside my head. Basically what I want to do is I want to get my wine fridge, which is now a beer fridge, off the floor and put it on a table. That's going to sit there in my room. And then next to it is going to be where I'm going to have my coffee drip system that I'm going to be making. And it's going to basically be like from there and up the wall, and it's going to be mobile, so I can put it in like my living room, in my kitchen for Halloween time, because it's going to be a very Halloween related, because I like skeletons and death and weird shit. You would think, you know, I work on older cars, I like bringing things back from the dead, so I might as well make it like a skeleton thing, you know, why not? But anyway, so the cold brew coffee drip system, you'll see that eventually. That's going to be the next project. The first project I'm doing right now is start off, get my feet a little wet. I just bought myself a router. I don't even know how to use it. I just like cut into my table, my workbench table in my garage, fucking around with it and stuff. And obviously I don't know what I'm doing because the depth is off, and I watched the video and it was like speaking a whole other language to me. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take a tree section of wood, a good choice of words, like a tree stump, tree log, whatever the fuck it is, slice it with my chainsaw, which I know how to do, and then that's going to be what the wine fridge sits on. Man, I should have really wrote a script for this stupid video. But anyway, I wrote down all the different stuff, the screws I need, the lacquer, sanding, wood glue, wall anchors. I'm going to probably anchor it to the wall so the ucker doesn't fall off. Got my little measurements down and everything. And I'm going to go outside and start cutting up some wood with my chainsaw. Hopefully I can find one a dimension that's big enough so that sucker can sit on it, because that would be awesome. So hope you guys enjoy the video of absence of intelligence. No, I mean, I know how to work on wood and miscellaneous stuff, but I'm the kind of guy you throw in a car and, you know, work on. You know, woodworking is... I get there eventually. guys, so what you're looking at here is the four lucky specimens that are going to be actually incorporated into the table. Now, of course, you can kind of see like the bottoms of a few of these are a little bit different lengths. Unfortunately, that was because I started trimming certain ones because I didn't like the cut on it and it got a little shorter. This is one I'm going to be using. It's probably going to be facing like the backside front. This guy, I got to scrape off the rest of this here because this has got mold on it. But you saw that with the flathead what I was doing, and basically what I want to do is, like this one here is wet. I could feel that sucker's really soaked. And this guy's got some dampness, but if you don't remove the bark to the point where it won't come off, like this will come off a little bit, lightly hitting it and stuff with a flathead. But this bark has got like a nice seal to the wood. And what I'm trying to expose is like the holes and stuff. Like here, like an example, I just cut a nub off of this guy, and I just exposed a cavern for some type of a bug. And obviously there was one in there as well. Now, I'm going to check it over one more time, make sure all the nubs are off. The reason why I wanted to get rid of the nubs and stuff, you look how clean that is, right? You don't even notice it. You saw me with the chop saw and stuff. That one you notice a little bit there, but that's fine. The reasoning why I was doing that was to make the wood look nice and clean and smooth, because what's going to happen is once it's out of the drying process, I'm going to hit it with the sander, and then it's going to get like a nice clear lacquer on it and stuff. So it's really going to bring out the look of the wood on it. I might do like a little bit of a stain on it and stuff, because I got this like fantasy with staining wood for some weird reason. I stained my table, and then I hit it last night with my new router that I bought. I've never had a router before, I never used a router before, and obviously I'm going to need to learn how to use the router, but that's at a later date. Sander with a freaking, also as a tidbit too, it's a DeWalt sander, palm sander. The chute bag is too small, it was in my way, so I connected a pipe for, what do you call it, split loom, and electrical taped it to the gas end where it vents out, so that when I was sanding cars and stuff, it actually works really well, all the dust actually shoots down the tube and goes wherever the hell I point it. The reason why it's still dusty, I was sanding sheetrock with that not too long ago. During the coronavirus epidemic, I had to fix a hole in my ceiling while I was off work for 2 days because it was the weekend. I don't stop working because of a fake virus. But anyway, so this is all going to get dried. Now, the drying process for this is actually kind of interesting, and it's a little weird, and I'm not really liking the whole process of it right now. It kind of makes me a little nervous. But apparently you preheat your oven to like 225 degrees and you stick the wood in there for an hour. I stuck a piece of wood, the top section, which I'm going to pull out in a couple seconds, and these guys are going to go in its place so they can dry out. But the wood that I stuck in there was the slice that I cut last night, which that was a trip, and I got to change the blade on that chainsaw because that was a bitch. So it's like 211 now. I'm going to check on the wood. It's probably good. I'm going to like pull it out anyway, put it on here, and I'm going to start sanding it and stuff, getting it really nice. I can even like start sanding it and then run down the stain or the lacquer on it and stuff, because on the back side of it is where it's going to get these suckers are installed in it. And I like this one. This is pretty cool. So it's all wood that's laying around outside my house, and virtually the project for this is almost virtually doesn't cost me any money. I mean, yes, I'm using a battery operated chop saw, which then uses electricity to charge it, which is kind of like redundant. And then of course I'm going to be using I use my chainsaw for that, which is electric chainsaw to cut the tabletop section, and then I'm using my oven. So of course I'm using like costing me of something of electricity versus, you know, whatever it is. But it's a simple little easy project that you can do yourself in your garage, you know, if you're looking for something fun to do. I mean, this looks fun. And then the lacquer and the stain I have left over from when I did my table and I did my bathroom sink. If you guys remember that video of the bathroom sink. If not, look in the channel and scroll down like a couple years ago, and I did like a floating sink in my bathroom. Alright, so I pulled the slice out of the oven. Pizza slice, obviously. Alright. I used a pot holders because I wasn't sure at 225 how hot wood would be. It's not bad, it's warm. So there's still some like residual dirt I guess I didn't get off last night, so I'm going to scrape all that off. And then also I'm going to take like my hammer here, and I'm just going to like bang around the edges of it and find some more bricks, because these two bricks aren't really cutting it for me right now. Two sections of slabs of crap. But anyway, I'm gonna like take off all this bark that's on it. Actually, I just pushed down on it and it came off, right? Go figure, right? I want to get rid of that bark that's on it. Look at that, funny. You hit it with a hammer, nothing happens, but you use your freaking hands like a man. Next thing you know, the wood comes off. Use your hands like a man. Put that on a t-shirt, Mike Rowe. Rowe's my mechanic. Anyway, so what I want to do, I'm going to clean this off. I'm going to screw around with my new, what do you call that thing? Router. I want to see if I can, like, finally, carefully route the edges of this thing and not fuck it up. It's a lot to ask for myself. So what I'm going to do is take it off here, because these things are just not cutting it for me. Because the router is not going to, like, hit the table. It's supposed to just lightly, like, graze the wood from the video I was watching last night. I told you, man, coronavirus is not a thing at all. It's a fucking fantasy. I'm just coughing because I'm a fucking old smoker. Old smoker, paint, and fucking chemicals, and breathing in fucking sawdust, you know. I'm slowly killing myself, but it's alright. You know, I only live once, you know. I tried living twice, it didn't work out. So I'm going to do that, get that really nice, and then I'm going to hit it with, man, it sucks getting old. And hit it with the palm sander on both sides, so it's really nice and sanded out. Maybe that'll bring out the color of the wood, who knows, and gets rid of this like dark gloomy look. And then worst case scenario, if I'm like using the router and it's like not like I'm not getting it and stuff to like what I want without like really fucking it over, I'll just use my palm sander and I'll just smooth over the edges too. There's a lot of ways to fry a fish. guys, so that is it for the legs right now. The legs are all stained up with traditional cherry. We have the top of it over there hiding off the side, so everything can sit and dry for quite a long period of time. I'm waiting on a couple like other tools to come in that I bought on Amazon. Hole cutter saw I bought on Amazon, or hole cutter saw section, so I can bore down to the random little depths as you see as well for the legs. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do cross beams. I might do them if it turns out to be not as sturdy as I expected. Plus I have glue coming, plus everything's going to be drilled out and screwed into the base as well. And obviously, as you see, the top and stuff is finished. But what I will do as well is, once these are installed, then I'll retouch up the different spots. And then I'm kind of like, I want to see what the stain looks like when it's done. If it's like a matte finish, I don't know if I'm going to keep it that way or if I'm going to hit it up with this special epoxy that I just bought. Alright guys, I'm back. I don't know why I say that, it's so stupid. But my battery was basically dead and I ran out of usable footage. So I'm looking at the thing. Why is it saying I got like less than an hour of recording? What the fuck? I thought I deleted the shit off the camera. Anyway, so I got the legs mounted up, and they're only being held on by screws because I'm going to unscrew them and then cut them to the specs I needed. So basically what I'm talking about here is that I'm going to put bracing in. So one of the other legs that I had, the fourth leg, I don't need. May the fourth be with you, so I cut it in half. So I lined it up on the wood, on the estimated section of where it's going to go. Now I'm going to keep the wood, this wood, so far at the section that it's going to be at, and also keep it on the side of the table where it's supposed to be at, and I labeled the bottom ends with the letter that matches the frickin' doohickey. So this is an A, I got the A here, and then that has nothing on it, and that's where it's got nothing on it. And I'm going to basically do one at a time. The tripod's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. But all of this, I highly suggest people, if you have a router or a sander or a cutter, what I'm about to do, don't do. I would say it's a little dangerous. Obviously, you tell by my chop saw, I'm going to carefully position the wood in and then just apple bob. That looked bad because my neighbor's like right across from me. I'm gonna go up and down with the chop saw and just like cut a little section out, and then that should be perfect. And then do it here and do both of them. Screw them back in. Do that. Screw it back in. And if I'm happy and satisfied with it, then I'm gonna just put some glue in them. Put the glue all down here, and then stand it up. But of course, I do know from looking at this thing, the legs are kind of all like disproportionate. All the legs are kind of like disproportionate. So I already know going into this little section right here where I'm at that I'm actually going to have to like my wall's in my way. I'm going to have to kind of I'm most likely going to have to like sand the ends on them and stuff and then stand it up. So I think before I glue it, I'm going to make sure when it stands it sits level. So I might have to do some cutting here and there and shit. So I'm going to start cutting, go back to listening to some old Tom Petty. guys, as you can tell, I got the table up. It looks like a toadstool, to say the least. So I got the table up, I got all the screws in, you can tell I got the wood glue going on it. Kind of got a little messy there for a bit. These caps on these things suck. I couldn't get the cap to squirt the glue out right. And I didn't want the cap to go flying across the frickin' room, so I figured it was easier just to take the nipple off, whatever the hell you call it. Do that. Obviously she's going to need like another sanding and stuff. Probably in some couple different spots. Maybe try to level out the top a little bit. It's not that high, but I figured just try to make it look a little bit nicer than it looks right now. But other than that, it's just got to sit and dry for a bit until it's like just about ready. I still have to track down some brackets so I can anchor it to my wall, and then I might have to put some like L brackets there. So the wine fridge sits on top of it nicely and it doesn't overhang too much, being I've never used one in my life. So my next little fun dilemma I'm going to start doing now is actually sticking on the legs, screwing them into place so I know exactly where they're going to end up sitting, and then notching out the section so that I can make the in-betweens. Now I have this piece here that I didn't use that was going to be earmarked a leg, but because it's like the right size of a support, I might actually just end up cutting it and then cutting a little knot. Each section is labeled. Put the Y in there. So here's our Y. But why? Why do we gotta be politically correct? Otherwise, weird short-haired women will start freaking out. I'll run a screw into them so I can get them all mocked up so they look nice. Try to level them out with the palm sander. I don't need the router anymore, so I can actually stick that in the back for the time being. So I'll unplug this thing because it's currently like leaning over a line of cables. Hey guys, alright, so I don't know if you noticed I think in the last segment of this video montagio, but I have it all glued up. What's actually nice with the Gorilla Glue is you can't really see the glue, so that's pretty cool. It did get a little dirty, unfortunately, but that's no big deal. And right now it looks pretty freaking sturdy. The only issue I do have is when you look at it, it does look like it can lose a couple inches on the rear of it. So what I'm going to actually end up doing is I'm going to slowly start actually kind of cutting it so that it can actually start leveling it out. Because I'm thinking the leveling out point would be about there, because that looks nice and level, right? So I might have to even do like a little here and then a little there, and then just put it on the table, try it again, do it again, try it again, do it again, try again. And then you guys will see the final product of it, where it will be sitting in the room with the wine fridge on top of it. And this is pretty fucking sturdy, I'm not going to lie. You know, it's kind of hard to tell with the wobbly table how sturdy it may or may not be. But time will definitely tell very shortly. And I might have to put some brackets or come up with a bracket system. But then I'll start my next project, which is the coffee drip system. And then there's all my parts for that. So I'll get back to you real shortly. Alright guys, so now what I'm doing is, grab the wire, so that's out of my way. So now what I'm going to do, actually I'm just going to unplug it, fuck it. Because I gotta put that in here. Alright, so the stool's done. It's all very shiny. Got like a little gloss lake to it. Legs look really nice on it as well. Now, I had plans of putting like anchors on the wall. I haven't really done that yet because I haven't decided on doing that yet. I was going to use some L brackets, but I might just bite the bullet and say fuck it and not use L brackets and maybe use like a piece of wood. Now, it's funny how now the fridge is leaning forwards. So what I might do is actually spin it around so it sits back a little ways. So if you can rotate that the other way. I had that side open for a reason. It actually doesn't make a difference now. That's good. Coming in. So I want it to sit. See, now it sits level. What the fuck? Clunk. Just hits the wall. Alright, so now it sits level. Go fucking figure, right? So how does it sit here wise? Well, it's a little wobbly, you know, but it is sitting on here. And this thing has kind of like little brackets, I think, right? Something like that. Probably going to do is put like a piece of wood attached to the wall. Attach a piece of wood in the wall there that jets out so that it gives it stability there. Other than that, it ain't going anywhere. I just don't want it there. And it's like a trip hazard. Other than that, people, that's basically it. So the wine fridge is now off the ground, and my coffee drip system is going to go right next to it. And what's cool with the coffee drip system is that thing is not going to be connected to anything electrical. That's going to be completely all self-sufficient. So that's going to be nice. Nicely sitting like that. Maybe this position is more level on there. That's good, actually. That's even better. That's sitting actually now nice and solid on there. I was messing around with some epoxy. Fuck the epoxy right now. While I was shopping online, is a jig kit. It is a dowel jig kit. So it lines up the dowel holes, so you know, you make sure you line up your project right. So that's going to be a fun one for me to experiment with. From last time we left off here, and I know you guys are watching this and continuing, but it's been a couple days and I don't know where the fuck I left my brain. But I'm going to stick the drill up here. Also bought, and I'm looking for it right now, is a hole saw kit. This was pretty cheap too. It's Conway 16 piece. Oh no, Comaware. Comaware? Great. Horrible fucking mayor. Anyway, it has 16 pieces, all different sizes. That I'm going to use when I'm drilling into the bottom of the table topper for the legs. Now I got a couple more ideas and I was kind of pondering around with them in my head. I got out of work early today. This was the aftermath of it after being stained. Obviously, as you can tell, I have not put the epoxy on there. This thing is really big. It's fucking lock on there. It sucks. Alright guys, so back to the project. Well, I tried using the hole cutter, hole saw tools, thingies, whatever the fucks, and obviously that wasn't working for what I was hoping it would do. So I went a different way, and I ended up actually hitting it up with the router to get the little scoop outs, which was actually very successful, because now I finally kind of figured out how to use a router. Notches into it, so it can go right into the wood. Which then might end up me using the dowel, goes into the, I got some good language here and I'm watching my battery going low, so I gotta grab my battery and my battery pack and the cables. The one fun thing with the router though, you get covered in man glitter. And man glitter, for all you who are wondering what man glitter is, it's called sawdust. And we try to be politically correct. Because who knows if we're hurting Sawdust's feelings. This is what we gotta call it, man glitter. Gotta be politically correct. Make America great again. Get rid of the pathetic crap. So the only second thing working on a small workbench over here is, it's not really a small workbench, it's just a workbench with a ton of shit. So I'm going to be back at like 2 licks of a cat's tail. Where the fucking stick the charger? Birdies!